Welcome back, everybody, to a continuation of a series. We're going to be playing Legend of Keepers, and we're going to go back to playing as the Engineer, the character that I've only played one mission of, and she's pretty fun, but I do not understand her minions very well, so I'm excited to get a little further into her talent tree, get a little further into her missions to see what else this game has in store for Lira, the Engineer. So if you saw my original playthrough of Mission 1, I had an episode 0 where I talked about the game, the characters, and all the different mechanics and that kind of stuff if you're completely new to the game. And then I had episodes 1 through 5 where I played this first mission as the Engineer. So what I'm going to be doing here is we'll call this episode 6, and I'm going to continue on, and we're going to start up Mission 2 here with the Engineer. First, let me go ahead and do her talent tree. Never had any points to spend with her until now because that was the first time I'd played her. So let's take a look at our options. Renting duration of traps to the Dungeons Company for siege tasks is reduced by 1 or 2 weeks. Not super worried about that. It's not unhelpful, but typically I'll have extra traps, and renting them out means I'll just use the other ones, or I'll rent out the ones I don't plan to use. Price of traps at the merchant reduced by 20 or 30%. Buying new traps could be interesting, especially if I start with weird ones that I don't want to use. And we have training price of mechas reduced by 20 and 30%. So mechas is, of course, one of the sort of racial classes that we have. So in Mission 1, for instance, we had a lot of those characters here with this mecha sort of racial class. In Mission 2, which we haven't taken a look at, we may have some very different things. So let's actually take a look at that before I choose our talent points. So the mission is Wannabe Chemist, and that's sort of our loadout. So it looks like we also have Undead. So we have Undead, demons, and mechas. So it looks like we start with a skeleton archer, start with a human hunter, not a human hunter. These both do AoE nature and apply poison, which is pretty cool. Here's another one that applies AoE nature and does poison. Does poison if they're affected by at least 2 penalties. Interesting. So we could do demoralize, AoE nature, and then more. So that's a team right there. And we have some more AoE nature. We have this succubus, which I find to be can be quite powerful, actually. She seems very basic, but the fact that her attacks ricochet can be very useful. It's just unfortunate that you don't know going into a dungeon, if the hero in the front is going to have positive armor for her to be extra effective. This can actually ricochet twice, so if the first hero has positive armor and the second hero has positive armor, this can hit all 3, and then that's where she's very powerful. We also have a steel golem. We had one of these in our other playthrough. His name was Dawn. This one does ice damage and has a nature damage, and it just hits the things in the front. It looks like our traps, we start with a poison cloud and a poisonous plant. So yes, I guess Wannabe Chemist is quite apt here. We have a lot of nature damage, so we're going to struggle against things that, like the assassin type characters that have nature resistances. So we'll see how we go. Let's go back into our talents here. Training price of mechas is reduced. Now, are we going to have a lot of those? I mean, we're always going to have some. Price of traps at the merchant is reduced. Renting traps. I think we'll do the price of traps goes down to 30% off. That way we have the choice to buy new traps if we don't like what we have. We can sort of change our strategy around in the start. So let's get started. Okay, so we have week 1, veterans or adventurers. We're of course going to take the harder group. Let's go ahead and sort our monsters out. I think I want to do like this and have the multiple debuffs, and then this one will apply more poison. And then our second group will just be the group that takes out the stragglers if they make it that far. And then our starting traps, I always think that's traps because of the gear symbol. Our starting traps are the poisonous plant and the poison cloud, which are quite similar, although this one does weakness and this one does poison, so we'll see what the layout of the dungeon is when we get inside there. Start with 350 gold, no blood, no tears. We have 1,000 life, and we restore 20 per week. So we'll head on in. Okay, we've loaded in. Let's take a look at our adventurers here. Unfortunately, we do have one of these 90% nature resistant guys. Oh boy, level 2 ninja. That's a problem. Oh, his passive is all resistance is increased by 15. Gosh, this guy is horrible. We have a sorceress who does air damage, replaces one of her penalties with a bonus. Oh no. Repairs morale, start of each turn. Damage and morale taken from traps reduced by 50%. Gives morale back, applies tiredness. So this team is not going to be killable with morale. And also, this character is not going to be killable with nature. These two are weak to it, though. So, if she's going to get her penalties replaced with a bonus, I think we want to hit her with... Oh, our spell is after both traps. Interesting. Yeah, I don't like the orientation of this dungeon, so we're going to have to figure out a way to work around the weird series of rooms here. I think we hit him with this first. We want to get rid of her bonus replacement so that we can get our monsters to... so once it gets replaced, then we can start stacking up other types of things to give this guy an advantage. Oh, he is slow as hell. Plaguebringer is 20 speed. That might be the slowest thing I've ever seen in this game. Wow. Alright, so we'll put the toad there. We're going to have air in the front and air in the back. This will do like this. And then nature damage everywhere, but I can't do much about that. Oh, cool. He's got like a plague sensor. Neat. Alright, second trap. We have no choice but the poisonous plant. Our spell room. What are our choices going to be? Yeah, that could be helpful. Next group of monsters gain barrier points. That could be helpful. So we have air in the front, air in the back. So we'll do like so. Okay, that looks pretty good. Not a whole lot of choice at these early stages. He's stabbing the Plaguebringer with his knives. It's a strange decision. He only took 1 damage from poison. Not good. Oh, she hasn't taken her turn yet, so she's going to lose her debuff before this guy gets a chance to affect her with the extra poison. That's really unfortunate. Unfortunate speed situation. There's not really anything I can do, so I'm just going to do the volley. It hurts. Incensing. So these two are affected by 2 debuffs, but this one is not. So I could think about doing Pestilence. Spreads up to 3 stacks of poison and applied to the target to the hero position behind the target. Oh, that's not going to help us, unfortunately. Cool monster, though, but not working well against this particular character right now. Neat. He exploded. We're not doing well against these heroes, are we? Easy target doesn't matter. We don't have any traps left. So it's going to be either poison or sampling. Physical damage is okay. Nature damage is probably better because these two are pretty severely weakened to it right now. So let's do that. Some more poison stacks. Okay, multi-shot, nature in the front. It doesn't have any barrier points. Rain of Harpoon, nature damage applies poison and gains barrier points. It's got to be that one. Okay, you have positive armor, so this will ricochet once. I could do the poison and add 3 more stacks, or the fire. I think we'll do the poison. The more stacks, the better, because then each tick does even more damage, and it lasts longer. Okay, calm. What do we want to do? Transform or transmutation, nature damage, remove all effects. All monsters of the group gain 10 barrier points for each effect removed. Now, it's only 2 effects. I don't think that's, 9. I think it's 2. So I don't want to do that. Freezing Fist, Frostbite. Yeah, we'll do that. Oh, Succubus down. Rain of Harpoons, more poison. These two are definitely screwed. It's this one that we're going to have to beat to death with our engineer. Oh. Uh-oh. His attack's pretty bad, though. These two are going to... These two are going to take a long time to kill each other. Oh my god. This is terrible. He can't get through his barrier points very well. And he's not affected by the... Oh, but the poison stacks are going up by 1. He's only taking 7 damage. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to... I wonder if there's an achievement for a fight taking 30 rounds. He's resisting 90% of this damage. Look how much damage this should be. It's about time. No, because this does like no damage. Oh my god. This should be the final one. He has 10 health, so we'll give him Rain of Harpoons. This is the highest number of stacks of anything I've ever seen. 22. Finally got him. Oh my god, that was ridiculous. Okay, we've got some monster choices here. Ice Skeleton, Morale, and Demoralized. That's something we could use. We could try to do some morale damage with this particular playthrough. We've got Skeleton Scientist that does poison. Really stack up the poison, actually. That's not bad. Or the Flame Eater. Damage dealt increased by 5% per stack of penalty. Wow, this is really, really about the penalties. Pretty cool. Emil, the Skeleton Scientist. I didn't go with this one in that other game I played, so I might pick him. It's got pretty bad resistances, I guess. Like overall low health and not any stellar resistances. I like the morale and demoralize, though. I want the ability to do a morale team. I think I'm going to have to go with the Ice Skeleton again. I love them. Okay, so we could go to the merchant, because we might need... Oh yeah, we're going to be sending something away. So let's go to the merchant. Traps are cheaper. Ice weakness? I don't think we care about that. What is this guy wearing? A hawk trainer. He's a mecha. He does physical damage. Damage dealt increased by 100% if the hawk trainer has barrier points. And he does fire damage and applies burn. He has very little armor, probably because he's not wearing anything. Also appears to be a Cyclops. Or we could buy the Skeleton Scientist. Or we could buy both. Which is might be the best choice. So we do need some extra stuff. Let's buy the hawk trainer. And then do we want an extra trap? Ice damage and ice weakness? I mean, we just don't do much ice. Very, very little ice damage. I don't think we want Icy Breeze trap, so let's leave. Okay, so this is kind of a big decision here. A siege would mean renting out a trap. We can't do that. We only have 2. A business trip would be sending 1 monster away for a choice. Plunder is the one where we have a chance for stuff to go wrong and a chance for stuff to go right. I think I typically like business trip more. It just means you'll definitely have somebody away for a while, but I get to pick my rewards. Let's do business trip. I'm usually drawn to the artifact. Let's take a look here. Demoralized deals physical damage instead of morale. Now that's an interesting prospect. That's really interesting. Because we have... What in the world? Demoralized deals physical damage. I think I want to try it. It changes the game kind of dramatically. Let's give it a try. It's a long time for that monster to be gone, but what are we going to do? I also do the therapist, which is coming up, but I think we have enough. We don't have to worry about the therapist. So let's do an event. You placed a bet on a boar racing game during lunch break. The one you chose finished first and you won the jackpot. You could also use your winnings to throw a party for your employees. +1 motivation for all available monsters. Nope. Money. Alchemist or event. We'll do event. Oh, one of these infernal guardians. A headhunter is here to show you a promising monster he has spotted on the job market. Do you want to recruit it for 200? Yes, I do. Those guys are powerful as hell. All right. Veterans at the stronghold will get an artifact reward. Usually you get a choice of 3, which will be really, really nice. And a little bit of money, but this is just straight up better than the adventurers. So, who do we want to send? We could do... We can't do a morale team easily right now. So maybe we'll send you home. And we'll do, like... Nature and poison. Morale. Fire. This guy lowers fire resistance, so we might do, like... These 3... Can lower fire resistance, and then this guy can blanket them in fire. This guy also has fire. I think we'll do like that. That should be fine. And we've got an ice resistance and a fire resistance to round out the group. We no longer do morale damage basically at all. Well, we do, but the demoralized debuff, the damage over time does physical damage instead of morale damage. So we can hit them for some morale, but a lot of it will end up being physical damage. So let's head on in. Okay, we're in. Let's take a look at our heroes we have coming in. We have an herbalist, nature damage, elemental weakness, heals one hero's maximum life after a fight by 50% once, and ignores the first attack suffered. We have a tracker, dodges the first trap, does fire damage in the back and a pretty high amount of burn. Applies broken armor when attacking. Fortunately, that won't matter because we don't have any physical damage. We have a ice wizard. Now, these are the ones that move the heroes around, so I'm going to have to remember that I have to put them in a particular order. I have to put them where I don't want them to be so that they don't end up there. It's AoE ice damage and slowed, which is pretty big. Heals 10% of all heroes' maximum life at the start of each fight. So that'll only matter once, which is here, because they won't have any health missing here, which is nice. And she'll skip this trap. Okay, so after this trap, most of these effects have gone off and won't be used ever again. Okay, so we want nature damage in the back, fire damage in the back. So maybe we'll put the biggest health one in the back. And then the front is going to get hit with ice. So put this person next, so when this person is dead, Visago, we can have Silbum tank the damage after that, even though he has 50 health. And we'll put Calm in the front. And that looks good to me. This person will dodge the effects of the first trap. So both of these, though. Damage taken from traps increased by 100%. Not much. I don't think that's a good spell for us right now until we get a trap that's better upgraded. So it'll probably be this nature damage and poison. So here we'll probably do nature damage, poison. This person will skip it, but then we can get some stacks on the other two at least. Skip the spell. Nature and fire in the back. I don't know that we have... Oh, this guy's resistant to both of those. That's helpful. Jigbee. And then the next nature and fire here. Lewis. And then Sekahu will be in the front. So that looks pretty good. Next trap, we only have one choice, poisonous plant. And we will start this dungeon on the next episode because we're all out of time for this one. So thank you for joining me, everyone, for the start of well, I say a new series, but really it's a continuation of the Engineer's saga, leveling her up and getting through these missions, which will begin to get harder, and eventually we will probably fail. Probably by mission 3 or 4, we'll start to actually see failures. So I hope you guys will join me for the next episode, and I'll see you then.